study to actually memorize. In this video, I try to summarize few scientific researches and also a book from a world master of solving Rubik's Cube game on time, Marcin Kowalczyk. So I think it's gonna be quite interesting. Let's go. Number 1, nutrition-rich diet. Explain me how you want to achieve anything with your studying when you don't provide to your brain most basic elements which it needs to providing a correct memory, correct analyzing data and things like that. It's like driving a car where you don't change tires, where you don't change oil and expect to not have any problems during your drives. Your brain is an extremely sensitive machine. It needs magnesium, for example, to correct sleep, to produce and secrete most important neurotransmitters which are necessary for your motivation, for your will to work, for your abilities to analyze data and memorize something. For synapses forming, which are kind of data storage in our brain, we need, for example, zinc. We also need the choline, which is one of the most crucial elements to produce acetylcholine, which is absolutely necessary for memorize things. And how you want to achieve all of these studying goals if you cannot even provide these needed elements which your brain needs? If right now you have a diet which is mostly empty calories, which don't provide you any nutrients, anything more than pleasure and empty calories, you should change something in your diet, because otherwise you will never be able to reach 100% of potential of your brain. Number 2, sleep. 7.5 hours during the night. And before you tell me that billionaires don't sleep 8 hours a night and it's complete bullshit, and for example Elon Musk sleeps just 6 hours a night. Elon Musk also say that he's the best player in a Doom game or whatever, I don't even know their real name. But then it appeared that some Asian is playing this game for him and this is what he's talking about versus his actions. But anyway, science proves that many important processes in sleep are placed into the last phase of this process. So if you sleep 6 hours instead of 7.5, you lose the most important part of your sleep in a memorizing process in even 50%. So it means that the 50% of information which you remembered and you have them right now in your short-term memory cannot go to your long-term memory and stay in your brain for a longer time because you just lost 1.5 hour of your sleep. There are also short phases of sleep which are called sleep spindles, and scientists claim that the more we have them, the more information can be stored in our brains during the night. And of course, also most of these phases happens in the last phase of sleep. Number 3, wrong methods of studying. How most of people study. They try to read over and over the same text to finally something memorize. Or they just take a notebook and try to do some notes from a presentation or something like that until they finally memorize something. Both of these methods have something in common. They are both very ineffective. Now let's do a quick experiment. Imagine the horse. Did you imagine the letters H-O-R-S-E? I don't think so. You probably imagined a horse. For all of you, for literally all the person who watched this video, it wasn't a couple of letters. So why most of people try to memorize something by just reading it over and over and trying to imagine these things as a couple of letters, couple of sentences? Studying is an art of connections, one thing which we don't know with something what we already know from the past. The specific effective methods of studying are literally a material for another very long video. I will for sure record some video like that in future, but right now the most important what you need to know is to create connections between things, words, situations, places which you already know with a new knowledge. So for example, if you want to learn how is the horse in Spanish, you shouldn't just try to read it over and over again, but just think something which reminds you this word. For example, for me, caballo sounds a little bit like cabrio, so I imagine a horse in a cabriolet car. As easy as that, 5 seconds, and I have really strong memory in my head, and I will know probably to the end of my life how is the horse in Spanish. Number 4, have a clear goal. I'm sure some of you who already know something from self-improvement heard that we shouldn't set our goals like tomorrow I will study. We have to set our goals like tomorrow at 6 a.m. I will study for 2 hours biochemistry from a field of, for example, lipids. And as most of us probably heard that we should set a clear goals, I'm sure that the 99% of you don't set your goals like this. And even if you do some to-do list for the next day, it will be like studying biochemistry, not like very autistically specific detailed plan. But it's a huge mistake. Your brain is extremely lazy organ. And if you tell your brain that tomorrow we will need to study biochemistry, it will try to find millions excuses that it's not clear, it doesn't know what to do, or it will try to like kinda cheat, not study, just start to read and don't really analyze that. Remember that your brain wastes 20% of total energy which your body uses. It's not strange that each organ try to save energy whenever it can. And that's why we hate to make new decisions. We have to have a clear plan what we need to do the next day. And the worst thing is to sit down and think, what I need to study now, what I need to actually read. Number 5, Parkinson law. It is the very interesting phenomenon that your brains tend to elongate quests which should take you, for example, 2 hours for an all needed time which you planned for this concrete task. So for example, if you plan to study 8 hours biochemistry, it will probably take you 8 hours, even though technically it should take you just 4, and if you would plan half shorter time, it would take you just 4 hours. This interesting neurobiological effect is not really well explained, but it is real that if you set shorter time for your things, you can be even twice or even more times more productive than if you would plan, for example, a whole day for this one activity. So set short time. Number 5, eat the frog first. What is the worst feeling before an exam? If you plan to study in the evening before or in the morning, and then you waste all your day on scrolling, watching TikTok, going out for a nonsense walk around your home and things like this. So the point of eat the frog first advice is to, the moment you wake up, you just literally open your eyes, hear the alarm and go straightly to study the first 1.5 hour. But what we need to study at first in the morning? The answer is the hardest, the most advanced thing which you have to do at this day. Don't try to cheat on yourself and do some easy semi-work task. Do something which is the hardest, like solving the trial exam, trying to understand some complex processes. And don't lie yourself and really think for a moment what will be the hardest, what will be the most challenging, and do it in the morning. It has 2 massive benefits. Firstly, in the morning your brain is the most productive, the processes, the analyzing data and memory works the best, and the first 1.5 hour you just have your peak performance of the day. So you should use this time in the most effective possible way, and it is by doing the worst task. And the next thing, the other part of the day, the next hours, you can do whatever you want and it will be easier for you. Just read a book, relax, go with friends, because you already did the worst part. It was pain, yes, but it's over. You can do now whatever you want. Number 7, how to eat an elephant. Slowly, part by part. Do you remember when last time you had really huge exam? What was the first thing which you did? I bet you were probably scared of all this huge material and you just did completely nothing in first days to prepare yourself to this exam. And it is the natural reaction of fear which our brain has when it sees a huge part of material which we need to study. So what you need to do is to cheat a little bit on your brain and just chop this material to much smaller parts and just think, okay, this day I will study 20 pages, the next one also 20 pages, and after 10 days you have made the whole needed material. And that's it. People really don't appreciate how powerful is to actually, the moment before you start to study for this really long exam, just chop material into parts and focus on smaller parts, and then slowly but entirely eat the whole elephant. Thank you very much for watching this video. Subscribe, like, comment. See you. Ciao, ciao.